Today, I would like to talk about reducing from the opposite point of view, from the inverse. So instead of always thinking, I need to reduce, or rather, maybe not, you're not even thinking about reducing, but you're just simply adding stuff. So I want to look at this idea from the opposite. How can you burn out faster? How can you get exhausted more quickly? How can you be without energy as fast as you possibly can? Well, just keep on adding things. Just keep on adding things to your stockpile of things you already have, adding mentally, physically, anywhere in your work life, just always saying, yes, yes, I'll do that, yes, I'll do that, I'll do that next. Now, all of a sudden, you just keep on adding things and you'll feel overwhelmed. You'll feel overworked and you'll never get anything done. Instead, you need to reduce. You need to figure out a way on how you can most efficiently get the things done that are most important and not get all the other things done at the same time. There are even studies on that. If you multitask, not only does it actually sometimes take you up to 50% longer to finish a task, but the quality of the work that you're delivering just goes down by a lot. And therefore, it's actually not worth it doing the multitasking unless it's something very, very basic, very, very simple. But getting into the habit of multitasking, it's just not going to do it. It's just not going to work out the way that you think. Just because you don't perceive the drop in quality or the drop in focus and energy at that moment doesn't mean it's not there. In fact, give it a couple of days, give it a couple of weeks, and you'll feel exhausted, you'll feel burned out, and you'll feel like it's never stopping. It's always continuing to burn me out. So, if you look at it like this, if you want to burn out faster, just keep adding things. Keep adding things before you get anything done. Instead, learn to take steps back. Learn to chill out. Learn to relax. And when you have actually nothing more to do in a day, for example, when you come home from work, take a couple moments of mindfulness, take a breather, learn to get out of your own way, learn to free up mental capacity so that you can actually get back to work and feel okay and don't be exhausted all the time. You'll not only be exhausted at work, you'll be exhausted at home. And what happens when you're exhausted? Well, your emotions are a little bit less stable, and it's very likely that you will get into fights more easily, or you'll be annoyed and angry more easily. Maybe you'll drive worse in the car, and all of a sudden you cause an accident, or you are involved in an accident because you just didn't pay the attention that you would usually take for granted. Listen to what I just said. You're taking something for granted. But when you keep on adding, when you keep on adding to the load of things that you need to do, that you have on your mind, you'll be exhausted. And the thing that you take for granted usually, you might not notice it at first because it's so subtle, but all of a sudden, you actually feel exhausted. You actually make worse decisions in your life, in your work, everywhere. The amount of work that you get done, the quality of it, everything goes down and you'll feel dissatisfied even. So that's another thing to keep in mind. When you are actually working like that, when you just keep on adding things, you'll feel more dissatisfied because it's virtually impossible to get all the work done that you need to get done. And to get it done in a way where you're like, oh, this is really good. I finally did something. No, you'll just keep adding to the pile without ever taking a step back. Sometimes taking a step back is not possible in your work life. There are those moments, of course. That means in your daily home life, after work life, before work life, it's all the more important to be relatively clean and calm. If you just keep on adding, for example, by you come home at night, you're exhausted, and now you're starting to eat ice cream or you start ordering pizza every night because it relieves you for a moment. Well, that'll also only be for a short while because all of a sudden you start gaining some weight, maybe. You feel less comfortable in your own shoes, in your own skin, or maybe because of how you're eating, you're not getting the energy, you're not getting the sleep. Let's say, for example, you come home from work, you eat a huge amount of ice cream, maybe a pizza. Now your sleep gets influenced. When your sleep gets influenced, you get even less rest. You wake up in the morning, you're already annoyed because you haven't slept enough. All these things, they trickle down. They create new branches of issues and situations that need to be dealt with. And if you don't deal with them, well, life gets really tough. So sometimes, instead of just thinking, how can I reduce, which is very good, and you should always try and do it, sometimes think, what would be the worst thing I could do right now? And then don't do that thing. For example, at work, the worst thing might be to always say yes to everything. Or even in your personal life, I'm not saying don't say yes, because yes is also a beautiful thing. Helping someone is a beautiful thing. But you have to also be aware of where you are at the moment in your work life, in your daily life, in your family life. Are you maybe overloading? And if so, then yes becomes an issue. Then yes becomes a problem. So then learn to say no sometimes. Figure out if this is one of those times for you, and then maybe say no. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you have any questions, suggestions, let me know in the comments, and please subscribe if you want to see more of this content. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.